I knew something was wrong before I even got out of bed. The air felt heavy, like before a thunderstorm, but there wasn't a cloud in the sky. I'm not one for drama, just a normal dude with a boring job at the DMV, 2 cats, and a younger sister who still raids my pantry when she visits. Today should have been normal. It wasn't. I could tell the second I opened my bedroom window. The street didn't sound right. Not quiet, exactly. Just off. I made coffee, burned my toast. My phone wouldn't connect to Wi-Fi, but I figured it was just Comcast being its usual useless self. I texted my friend Marcus. "Yo, you up?" No answer, but that wasn't weird yet. He usually ghosts me until noon. I tried to laugh it off. But then I looked out front. There was a military Humvee parked at the curb, no reason for it in our sleepy Ohio suburb. Some soldier stood by the door, talking into a radio. I saw blood on his boot, just a little, but enough that I stopped chewing. I went outside anyway. Stupid, I know. But that's what you do when nothing on TV or your phone matches what you're seeing. The neighbor's kid, Emily, was sitting on her porch, staring straight ahead. She didn't blink when I said her name. A guy I'd never seen before was walking up the street, hands shaking, muttering to himself. Some old guy coughed so hard he spat red onto the sidewalk and just kept walking. I started to feel sick. Was this a prank? Was I being paranoid? I called my mom, no answer. Tried my sister, went straight to voicemail. Even the news was useless. Local channels said to stay calm. Twitter said zombies. Facebook said bioterror attack in New York, but nothing to worry about. No one seemed to agree on anything except not to panic, which, of course, made me panic harder. I tried Marcus again, still nothing. That's when my phone lost all service, not just bad bars, dead. I jogged over to Emily, waved my hands, tried to get her attention. She flinched away like I was made of knives, eyes huge and hollow. Her dad came out, dragging her inside by the arm. He shot me a look that said, "Don't come closer." By now, every instinct was screaming at me that this was wrong. People were locking doors. The soldier from the Humvee was arguing with someone in a suit on his radio. Sirens in the distance, getting closer, then fading out. I saw Marcus finally. He was running toward me, limping, clutching his side, face pale as milk. He screamed my name but didn't look like himself, wild-eyed and desperate. "Get inside," he yelled. "Lock everything." I bolted. I slammed my door, locked every latch, even shoved my bookcase in front of it. I could hear shouts and screams from somewhere down the block. Glass breaking. My cats hid under the couch. I grabbed my baseball bat, shaking so hard I almost dropped it. The world outside was unrecognizable, and even though I hadn't seen them yet, not really, I knew in my gut what was coming. Lockdown wasn't just a word on TV anymore. It was the only rule that mattered. I waited, gripping my bat, sweat rolling down my back. I kept thinking about the look on Marcus's face, like he'd seen something he couldn't come back from. I peered through the blinds. Outside, the Humvee was gone, but the blood it left behind was smeared down the curb. The street was emptier than I'd ever seen it. Not even cars passing by, just a couple of distant figures moving weirdly slow. My cats wouldn't come out, no matter how much I called for them. It's funny how quickly your world shrinks in a crisis. Suddenly, my whole life was just me, the inside of my house, and the noises I didn't want to hear from outside. My phone was still dead. The TV flickered, but every channel was either emergency broadcast or static. I tried my laptop, no internet. Even the radio was just a guy repeating, "Stay inside, secure all entrances, do not attempt to leave." Then I heard it, something scratching at my front door, not banging, scratching, soft at first, then louder. I stood frozen. It sounded like someone trying to pick a lock with their bare hands. I tiptoed to the peephole and nearly threw up. There was a woman there, or what was left of her. Her dress was torn, her skin gray, lips cracked and bloody. She was dragging her nails down the door, leaving streaks. Her eyes were cloudy, but every once in a while she'd snap her head up and sniff the air like she knew I was there. I backed away, heart pounding so hard I thought I'd pass out. The noise kept going, scratching, then thumping. Something heavy hit the porch. I ran to the back door, locked it again, checked all the windows. I remembered my neighbor Emily and wondered if she and her dad were okay. I wondered about Marcus. I wondered if this was happening everywhere, or just here. Then the noise stopped. I waited. 5 minutes. 10. I was sure she was gone. I peeked out. Nobody there. The street was empty. But when I turned to check the hallway, I saw something move by my window. My stomach dropped. I crouched, held my breath. Another face popped up. This time it was Marcus. He was bleeding from the neck, face wild, eyes darting everywhere. He started pounding on the glass, begging me to let him in. "Please, man, I'm not one of them. Please." I hesitated. Every survival movie screamed, "Don't open the door." But this was Marcus, my best friend since 5th grade. He looked so desperate, so real. I cracked the window just an inch. "Are you bit?" I asked. He shook his head. "I got scratched, that's all. Let me in, please, man, please." I looked at his arm. 3 long red lines. Not deep, but fresh. I wanted to believe him. But deep down, I knew what that meant. I told him I was sorry. He started crying, then pounding on the glass, then just slumped down, sobbing. I slid to the floor on the other side, clutching my bat, heartbreaking. That's when I saw movement down the street. A group of people, staggering, some crawling, all heading my way. I had to move. I grabbed my cats, stuffed them in their carrier, and threw everything I could against the doors. I tried to make it look like nobody was home. The group kept coming. One broke off and started clawing at a neighbor's door. Another was chewing on something I didn't want to look at. Sirens again, closer this time. Gunshots. I ran upstairs, ducked into my bathroom, and shut the door. I could hear Marcus outside, still crying, still begging. I pressed my back to the cold tile and tried to breathe. The rules had changed. This wasn't about infection. It was about surviving the hour, the minute, the second. And I didn't know how much longer I could do it. I must have stayed in that bathroom for hours, maybe the whole night. I tried not to listen, but the sounds were everywhere. Footsteps dragging across pavement, glass shattering, gunshots echoing from blocks away. Sometimes, in the quietest moments, I'd hear Marcus sobbing on the porch or the wet, sticky sound of something hungry outside. My phone stayed dead. My only lifeline was the distant, endless drone of the emergency broadcast on the TV downstairs. I had to move. My cats mewed in their carrier, reminding me I wasn't alone, even if I felt like it. I peeked out the window and saw smoke rising 3 houses down. The neighbor's garage was burning. Shadows swarmed around it, stumbling through the flames. Someone screamed. I swallowed hard and made myself a promise. I wouldn't die cowering behind a locked door, not with them depending on me. I crept downstairs, bat in hand, every step heavier than the last. I'd always thought I'd be the type to freeze up in an emergency. Turns out, I was wrong. When I looked outside, I saw Emily's dad banging on their front window, begging for help. His shirt was ripped, blood everywhere, and Emily was behind him, her face pressed to the glass, eyes blank and mouth open. He shouted, "Please, she's still in there." But when I moved toward the door, I saw 2 infected clawing at his back, pulling him down. I hesitated just a second, and that's all it took. They dragged him out of sight. I heard his screams until they stopped. I didn't feel human anymore, not in the ways that mattered. I just felt cold. I had a choice: go out and die trying to save someone, or stay inside and live with the guilt. I chose the guilt. I dragged a shelf in front of the door, bit my lip until I tasted blood, and tried not to think about what that made me. My hands shook so bad I dropped my bat twice. I don't know what broke me more, the violence, or how fast I could get used to it. That night, the infected pushed through my backyard fence. One of them smashed through my back window and came crawling across the kitchen floor, snarling, its face a mess of blood and broken teeth. I swung the bat as hard as I could. The sound it made was nothing like in the movies. It was wet, final. I hit it again and again until it stopped moving. My hands were covered in blood, and I didn't stop to check if it was mine or not. I just stood there, breathing hard, the world spinning. I realized then that nowhere was safe. Not really. Places don't keep you alive. Choices do. I packed a bag, grabbed as much water and food as I could, and stuffed my terrified cats into the carrier. I thought about Marcus, about Emily, about my family. I thought about what I'd lost and what I'd become. The person I used to be would never have survived this. Maybe that's why I'm still here. As the sun started to rise, painting everything a sick, ugly orange, I pushed open the back door. The street was empty except for wrecked cars and the occasional body slumped against a curb. I didn't feel hope, but I didn't feel doomed either. I felt changed. Like the old rules about what was good, what was evil, what mattered, had all burned up with the world I knew. I started walking. My hands shook, but my feet kept moving. The world was gone, but I was still here. And whatever comes next, I know I'll never be the same. Don't miss the next story. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you're first to hear the next emergency warning.